give a little bit of introduction, collecting all the people. Maybe you introduce yourself as I think a lot. So because I don't know so much about you, I could read what you have provided, but I think it is easiest that you present yourself, and then we have a 10 minutes input session from you. And then how would you like to do it? Should people stay together, ask questions, go into breakout rooms? Is there any particular expectation from you?
Well, I think if you do a little introduction, and then I start with introducing myself, and then give like this presentation of this project, the hemp blocks, and then open for questions. I mean, I can easily talk 10 minutes, or I can easily talk an hour. So it doesn't. I can fit into how long you tell me, and then we can open it to questions. There are always some questions.
Yeah, that's the challenge, that you keep it crisp and short in 10 minutes. And then what do you expect from the people? That they learn a lot from you, or you get connections to them, or both? Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to give a highly technical lesson. It's more of like an introduction to this project, telling them what we've been doing and what is so great about this project, and if they're interested to work with this material, then be in contact with us. And we of course would like to get leads from this to have exposure for the product. And we are entering a very conservative sector. So it's any kind of exposure that is in the sustainable and green perspective is what we're looking for.
Okay. Do you have some links at hand, or some links to your website, or whatever you would like to share in the chat once people are here?
I mean, the website is really great. I was thinking I didn't know if to prepare a slideshow for this, or
No,
if
you
we
just give people, then after or during the session you could post some links that people can
I think our website can really speak for itself, and it has a really good presence and flow. So if just a link to this will be mainly English speakers, right? So
yeah, we speak English. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I'll put now in the chat. This is our website in English, and so whatever I think the best is to send them there for more information. There's also an intro video in this on the main page. So yeah.
Okay. We are 2 minutes already in progress. So we have Hugo and Henry Bird attending. So Henry, if you would like to switch on the camera, would be good to see you. The session will be recorded, so let's start. And you can give your session and introduction to the topic. Why hemp is such a miraculous material to build houses from. And people would probably have a look at it later who will not join right now. I'm Georg, the facilitator, and I'm trying to frame this session in the 25 minutes we have ahead of us. So Ellard Caspin, you're here, the presenter of this topic, why hemp is such a miraculous material. You can give a brief introduction of yourself, then let's see how the people arrive, what questions they have, and then you go into the presentation for 10 minutes, and then let's have an interactive session with all the people who are here. So, Ellard, welcome. Who are you? What you're looking for today?
Hello, George. Thank you, and thank you everyone for joining. My name is Elad Caspin. I come from Israel. I'm 36 years old, and I have been living in Portugal for over 10 years now, in the south of Portugal, in Alentejo. Um, and in the last 3 years, I have engaged in a very exciting adventure with some beautiful partners also coming from Israel that I very much appreciate, and we started a prototype for a hemp block factory in the Alentejo, in the south of Alentejo, about 2 hours south of Lisbon. And well, I was always very enthusiastic about this material, knowing that there are so many applications and usages for this material. But one of them, since arriving in Portugal and building a lot in all kinds of conventional methods, there was one particular aspect of hemp that really interested me, and that was hempcrete. So essentially, we're talking about the mix of hemp and lime, or the sheaves, or the hurd. This is the interior part of the stem of the hemp plant, and it is mixed with lime, or different kinds of lime. There are also different variations, but the main component is lime and water, of course. And what we get from that moment is absolutely remarkable, um, because well, after once the mixture is starting to dry, it gains even more and more strength from the carbon in the air, while gaining its resistance and strength. Um, it also becomes a very unique material for construction. It becomes fire resistant. It becomes highly thermal, with very high and superior thermal resistance and acoustic resistance, which means that a relatively very thin wall made of hempcrete will be the equivalent of a very insulated, in many other materials, natural and not natural. Um, so you're basically combining the masonry, the block laying, the brick laying, with the insulation, which is usually an additional part of the building site, with a lot of cost as well. Um, and besides that, another very unique property for the hemp, based on its chemical composition, is that it can absorb a lot of humidity, which means it essentially it breathes. So it can take in humidity from the space, and it can release that humidity again. And just like our bodies are doing that to regulate our temperature, with sweat evaporating from our skin, that's exactly what's happening with the hemp. It is regulating the temperature as it absorbs and releases humidity from the space. So basically, it is a natural air conditioner, and something that we've seen with many of our houses already in Portugal. Well, not many yet, but more and more now, is the feeling when you step into a hempcrete or a hemp block house is just phenomenal, and the people are, they don't even know, because in the end it looks the same. You plaster it, you paint it, however you want to cover, but the feeling is so different. So people just can't stop commenting on that.
Yeah, thank you for this introduction. So there's already been a lot about the subject. So some people arrived here. I'd like to see also who is here. Julia is here, Tao Kin, Sergey is here. Henry Birch has an issue with his camera, he cannot switch it on. So maybe just 1 or 2 minutes to connect with the people. Who wants to open its mic and yeah, introduce you briefly? Why are you here? What is your interest in the topic, why hemp is such a miraculous material to build. What do you hear from Alan?
Hey, I'm Julia. I am just interested. I'm not planning to build anything right now, but I'm just very, very curious to hear what's out there.
Thank you, Julia. Tao, do you would like to say a few words about you?
Sure, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm calling from Vietnam, and I'm very much interested in this topic because we are building an eco community and we are looking for materials that would be suited best for our condition. Here it's very humid most of the time in the year, so already it sounds like hemp is a very good option. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tao. Sergey.
Yeah, hi guys. So I was really amazed by hempcrete when I first discovered it. It was maybe a year and a half ago, and I was like an evangelist of this material for a long, long time. And we have designed a project of a house with walls based of hempcrete, but then we actually shifted our focus to just dry process everywhere. And that's why I'm actually really interested in the hemp blocks or panels or something like that, where I can keep my principle of dry process and still use hempcrete, because I'm really sure it's amazing material, and I'm still not able to find an alternative in a in dry materials world. I was actually able to find the acoustic panels made of wood and magnesium, and they are really good, but I guess hemp is still better and cheaper. So yeah, I'm really interested in how this thing is evolving. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have two new joiners, Alessandro and Mo, and yeah, Henry and Shuba are also here. If some of you also have interest to share why you're here, so what you would like to hear from Alan, so you can open up your mic for a few seconds.
Hello. Yeah, sorry about the camera. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically, from 2019, I was planning with my wife to build a near passive house, or as near as our budget will get to a passive house, standard small house in Slovenia. With my wife's Slovenian, we're planning on moving over there. And for the superstructure of the house, I don't think it's going to be hempcrete walls. It's in Slovenia. There's a number of very nice kind of prefab timber construction. It makes it a bit easier because I'm in London at the moment. So the off-site timber panelized construction that can be spec to kind of near passive house standard, and then very quickly built, assembled off-site and then taken to site and put up very quickly. So that's the kind of main concept for the superstructure. But as I mentioned in message, I'm very interested in using hempcrete for the ground floor slab. It's a very small project, so it's not actually going to be that much, but particularly in relation to the hydroscopic, or the relation of it to water, I'm very interested in that. It's got some thermal benefits as well, hasn't it, over concrete? I believe it. I'm not too sure that's a question actually. How does it compare to say an aircrete concrete block, for example? How would it compare in terms of its U value?
Yeah, thank you very much. For the sake of time, so we have maybe another 10 minutes. where Ellard also can share now all his insights and answers to your questions. So maybe if you would like to drop your contact details, your website in the chat, so please leave it here right now. And Ella, so what does this mean to you, resonate with you, what people say? What can you share?
Thanks, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the questions. These are all questions that I also was working a lot with in the last years now. And yeah, and as I said, well, I started by saying how basically these properties of the hemp block for construction, how they are so very, very advanced and high performance in terms of thermal, acoustic, fire resistance, and humidity regulation, and even pests and mold. It repels it, but this is what I want to say. Maybe I start with even the before that is why is the plant itself so extraordinary, because also the natural repellent side of things, which keeps your walls free from mold, free from pests. These come from the natural qualities of the plant itself to be a natural repellent. So it naturally repels all the pests, and that's why you don't. It's very easy to grow hemp organically or biologically, because you just don't need to add all of the pesticides, herbicides. It is such an amazing plant, and I want to also, I won't go into that too much, but it's not the same plant as the medical cannabis. It is the same family, but it is not the same plant. It does not have high levels of THC, and actually has a lot of other very unique properties. Also the fiber, by the way, the fiber of the plant, and not to mention the flowers, the seeds, they are all super materials, super nutrients, materials, and fiber for textile, for bioplastic, for for paper, for many things. But because of the time, I would focus just on the construction part. And also talking about the plant, just last thing is very important about his whole the footprint. Well, the carbon footprint of the hemp is absolutely off the charts. This plant is, together with bamboo, by the way, are the two most efficient and fastest plants in sequestering carbon from the atmosphere, along with a certain type of algae. And so today we see a lot of projects that want to offset carbon and bring some balance a bit the equation of carbon on a global level, are using more and more hemp. But on top of all of that, when you turn it into hempcrete, after, like I said, mixing it with lime, we also mix it with clay, by the way, in our blocks. We create basically a material that does not have the structural strength just by itself in pure block form, or in other words, you still need a frame for the house, and the blocks will only be used to fill in the walls, basically, and insulate the house. So that was for someone's questions about the structure. But as a wall material and as an insulation material, it's absolutely phenomenal. Well, and also it's also important to say this: we did not actually invent anything. This material has been out there for many years now, and as we in south of Portugal, in CÂNHAMOR, we developed our own mix, but there are many other good companies out there doing hempcrete and hemp blocks. And yeah, we also had our blocks tested and certified, of course, in specific in designated labs, an institute here in Portugal that does this kind of work to really know and to know how to compare this material with conventional ones. And we see that in thermal and acoustic insulation, it's really incomparable to the equivalent blocks or just even natural. Just to give an example, if you take a very standard way of building here in Portugal is to make a double brick wall, clay bricks wall, and to make double of them with an air pocket and an insulation layer in between. And this insulation can be natural from cork, which is very common here, and a great insulator, to all kinds of styrofoams and all of those foams that are very good insulators. But just for comparison, a double brick wall with 8 centimeters of cork in between is equivalent to only 20 centimeter wide wall, thermally speaking, if you're building with hempcrete. So you're basically saving space, you're saving time, as you're only doing one layer of a wall and there is no other steps to it, and you're gaining on all of the other benefits which we spoke about also: humidity regulation, temperature regulation, acoustic absorption, and resistance to to mold and pests. This is a very common problem here in Portugal and in many places, especially where it is humid, that you see after even a couple of years since a house has been built, you can see it getting this green mold, especially in the north-facing walls if you're in the northern hemisphere. So, and you get all this dampness in the walls, something that just beyond being cold in the winter, you're just breathing in mold and constantly. So
can I ask a couple of questions?
Alessandro, yeah, I think go ahead. We have 5 minutes to go. Ask your questions.
Thank you. I was just wondering 3 things. First, about the construction. So the frame, if the frame could also be used in an old house, in a very old house, like the beginning of the 20th century, and if it just goes aside of the wall, or if it is a wall, it can be used as a wall itself, as an external wall. And also if the acoustic can also be used for the rooftop to divide the 2 floors. And third one question, if it can be also self-produced. As I'm in Italy, I don't know anyone around, but I have 3 hectares of land that can be considered. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Very important questions. First of all, with the structure, as I said, you can use, first of all, the blocks are for exterior walls and for interior walls. You don't need to add them to a wall unless you already have it and you don't want to break it down. So they serve for both. If it's a structure of an old structure, this is not about the hemp. If a structural engineer would say that that specific frame is good enough to hold the weight of the roof, then it's all good, and you can use just the hemp blocks to close the walls and to cover the frame itself. Oftentimes the frame itself, especially in case of stone, concrete, or metal, it creates a thermal bridge where you lose all your thermal resistance, all your insulation from. So you need to cover them as well. The second thing was about the wall, the floors and the roof. Actually, you can do all hemp houses. So from flooring to roofs and to walls, you can build it all from hemp. And there are also some very interesting projects where you can leave the blocks not even plastered on the inside, and they are absolutely beautiful. When I can send some pictures of that as well, and you can find them on our website as well. And the last thing about producing your own hemp, well, you can do. First of all, in Italy, there are processing hemp facilities, and there are also block manufacturers, hemp block manufacturer in Italy. So you can definitely get that. But if you want to make it yourself, I would say you're in for a lot of work. I would suggest to buy the hemp already and maybe make your own blocks if you really want to do that. That's possible just for like one house, and it will be a lot of work, but it's possible. But in order to actually grow your own hemp for your own house, you will need machinery and a lot of space that I don't think 3 hectares and one home can support that. If I had more time, we could go more into the numbers, but it just doesn't add up for those this scale.
Yeah, thank you very much, Elad. So if you have further links to share, or some people asked also for specific hue values, lambda value, etc. So if you have more technical details on your material and all the properties, so it would be good to share. So I shared the link to your website so that people can connect with you. And if anybody else would like to leave his or email or whatever, maybe they can get in contact with you. So basically, we are at the end of the session. So we have 5 minutes to switch and to fade out to go to the next session. But just 1 or 2 people who want to say something at the end. So did you like it? What was in for you? What did you leave open? Or thumbs up, or whatever you like. Yeah. Thank you, Julia, for your hands up. Nita most probably is joining for the next session, which will start here in 4 minutes.
For sure, you made me very curious to inquire more about hemp. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you in the next session. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Julia. Yeah, thank you very much, Elad. So you also made me very curious. So I would have to question, do you want to produce it just for yourself, or do you want to go commercial, or is it just for, not just for, but it's because of regenerative wisdom, basically. So maybe what is your final dream? Where do you want to go with your hemp blocks?
Well, we are already in the process of now building a new, very big factory. We will be able to make up to 60 houses per month. We're making a huge expansion still here in the south of Portugal, with the processing plant of for the hemp itself, and with the block creation. So this is growing very big and becoming very known and more common here, even in Portugal.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for sharing. We wish you all the best. So I conclude the session here now officially. You can stay for the next session from Thatcher Mickelson. He is also talking about the regenerative power of industrial hemp. You can have a bio break for 3 minutes or so, and we will see and hear each other maybe in one or other session. Thank you very much.
Thank you.